Give him a pin.
Good morning, how you doing? Can you turn the lights up, please? I would love to see the students as I'm speaking. See, y'all wanted the lights down so y'all can act up. Y'all need to pay attention. How y'all doing? Everybody good? So it's a pleasure and honor to be here. Thank you. Now, is that cool?
We have technical theater on students, so we just have to make sure we know where you're going.
Okay.
Your preference, up on the stage or in the pit?
Pit.
Pit.
Awesome. Do we have the slides up?
As soon as I get
the slides? Thank you very much. All right, here we go. So, let's make that full page. All right, here we go. So, good morning once again. Thank you so much to the Denzel Washington School for allowing me to come to share a few ideas, a few thoughts, and a few words. So I am Jamaal Bowman. I am the Congressman representing New York's 16th District. The 16th District covers parts of the Bronx and parts of Westchester County, pretty much from here all the way to White Plains. Prior to being in Congress, I've only been in Congress since 2020. Prior to being in Congress, I worked in education for 20 years. I started as an elementary school teacher in the South Bronx, before becoming a high school dean of students, before opening up my own school and running my own middle school in the Bronx as a principal for 10.5 years. So education and children are my life's work. Whether I'm in Congress or not, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you all and those who come after you have what you need, not just to succeed, not just to survive, but to thrive. We live in a country, and we have to be really honest about this. We live in a country and in a space that has completely neglected, marginalized, and oppressed our communities. There's a reason why, if you look a certain way or you live in a certain place, your community has everything it needs, but if you're black or brown and live other places, your communities do not. And I am standing here before you as the first black man in U.S. history to hold this congressional seat. And as a result of that, my job in Congress is obviously not to only represent black people or Latinos, it's to represent marginalized people. And it's to speak truth to power on the issues that Congress continues to neglect. We have a country, think about this. Congress spends more money on war and jail than anything else. I'm gonna say that again. Listen to me. Congress spends more money on war and jail than anything else. My goal, and it should be the goal of all of us, is to make sure Congress spends on the things that people actually need, like child care, like education, like housing, like transportation, like mental health, like dealing with the issue of wealth inequality. Do you know, think about this. We have an economic system where 2 of the wealthiest Americans own more wealth than the bottom 50% of the country combined. There are 350 million people in our country. 350 million. The bottom 50% is 175 million. We got a country where 2 people got more wealth than 175 million. That's crazy. But there are many ways to change this. And I'm going to talk to you about a couple of them. So when I ran for office, I ain't never run for nothing in my life. I never ran for, class president, none of that. Never ran for office. But I saw my kids hurting. I saw my kids suffering with poverty, with mental health, with all kind of stuff. And I didn't see the elected officials talking about it at all. They kept talking about supporting a system that kept our kids hurting. So I decided to do something crazy. I said, I'm running for Congress. Why was that crazy? Because to run for office, you need money. I ain't had no money. To run for office, you need people in politics to know who you are. No one knew who I was. To run for office, you can't do it by yourself. You need people with you, hundreds, even thousands, who are going to knock on doors, make phone calls, write letters, and do a whole bunch of stuff telling people, hey, vote for Jamaal Bowman because he's the person we need. I didn't have any of that, and I was going up against someone who was in office for 31 years. He was the chair of a very powerful committee. He had $1 million and was going to get about $10 million before the end of this election. And even though those were the odds, I knew I had one thing this person didn't have. Well, a couple things, but I'll name a few of them. One, I knew I was going to work way harder than this person. I knew I was going to knock on 10 times as many doors as this person was. And my thinking was, if I knock on more doors and I talk to people, I could convince them to vote for me. That was one thing I knew I had. Another thing I knew I had was because I was an educator, I felt that about 90% or more of the people who I had educated in my life, I knew they would say good things about me. At least I thought. And so the biggest marketing, right now you got social media, you got television, they do marketing. The best marketing is word of mouth. If you tell your friend something good about something else, she is more likely to believe it. And then you know what she does? She tells somebody else. And on and on and on and on. And if that thing is a good thing, it explodes. So I felt that people would say nice things about Jamaal Bowman. And what happened? I worked my butt off. I had to quit my job as principal of the school that I founded. That was very hard. I had to quit my job. My wife thought I was crazy. My mother-in-law really thought I was crazy. My mother was like, go ahead, do that. And sometimes all you need is one person to tell you to do it for you to go do it, whatever it is. And so I did it. And, campaigned for about a year. And in 2020, election day? June 2020 was a primary election. I didn't just win the election. I won the election by 16 points. Now, yeah, you can clap for that. Now, those of you who are basketball fans, in politics, when you win by 16 points, that's like winning by 40 in politics. So it was a butt kicking. I was very proud of that. But it's not about being proud. It's about now that I'm in, what work are we going to do to make sure that I serve the people that I came here to serve? And if I don't do the work, I'm supposed to be voted out. It's on you and your parents and your friends to hold us accountable once we get into office. If you don't hold us accountable, we're going to do whatever we want. How do you hold us accountable? We're going to talk a little bit about that. Can we go to the next slide, brother? Thank you. All right. So this is the schematic of how our political system works. This is very important. Everyone here knows president. Yes, I know the president. Governor, yes, we got to vote for governor too. Mayor, yes, we got to vote for mayor. But there are so many other components to this that you absolutely need to be aware of. Because this is about building power. And I'm talking to you about civic engagement, but I'm talking to you about building power, your own power. I'll give you a quick example. I don't know how many people are in this auditorium. Let's say 100, 200. If all of you call the mayor or governor or senator or congressperson about an issue you care about, that person is going to respond to what you are asking for. You know why? Because if we don't, you represent 200 votes that might become 2,000 votes. And it might become 20,000 votes. Imagine all y'all start saying, man, I called Congressman Bowman in office, he ain't even get back to me. I called him and talked about gun violence in our community, he completely ignored me. I called him and said, blah, 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 Congressman Bowman ate bleep. And you tell somebody else, you tell somebody else, you tell somebody else, you tell somebody else, you tell somebody else. Next thing you know, 20,000 people don't like Congressman Bowman. And guess what? In the next election, what's going to happen? I'm out of there. You're going to vote me out, right? So that's what your power looks like. So let's look at this schematic real quick. So at the federal level, we got the president, we all know that. But we also got the Senate, the House, and the Supreme Court. I work in the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives has 435 people. We all got to figure out how to pass a bill from the House. We need 218 votes. That's the master number, 218, okay? That's the House. The Senate has 100 people. You would think, okay, they need a majority. 51 people in the Senate agree on something, they pass a bill out the Senate, but no. The Senate has something racist called the filibuster. Now, we don't got time to get into that right now, but whoever the civics teacher is, research what the filibuster is and figure out why I'm saying it's racist. But it is. Okay, so that's the federal. At the state level, this is all very important. You have a governor, but you also have a state senator and a state senate and a state assembly. And then you also have state court systems. All essential. You need to know who these people are. If you don't right now, that's fine. We'll send you information so you know who they are, and I'm sure your teachers will get that to you, but I'm just giving you an overview. At the county level, you have the county executive's office, but then you have county legislators, people in the county who you vote for, your family votes for every couple of years, and they go and they make laws for you. And I promise you, a lot of you probably don't even know who they are. You probably don't even know that thing existed, which is crazy. Not your fault, though. And then locally, whether it's a city, town, or village, we have mayors, and then we have a city council and board of trustees. Now, let me just say a couple of additional things. I'm going to go to the stage now, because this is important. So your first question should be, who the hell are these people? And what are they doing for me? One, you need to know who they are. And two, you need to know what they're doing, including me. Right? So that's number one. But I got two big words at the bottom on purpose. Taxes and advocacy. Let's start with taxes. We all wearing clothes. We have book bags. We have shoes. Everything you buy, you pay tax on it. That tax money goes to one of these areas, or all of these areas. They get that money. What are they supposed to do with it? Put it back into the community. How are they putting it back in the community? If you got broken sidewalks, if you don't got enough parks, if there's not enough green spaces, if your school's got broken stuff in them, what's going on, right? So not just what you wear. When you, buy a car, let me take me for example. I have a job, right? My job is paid for by taxpayer money because I am an elected official. But taxes come out of my check. Your parents, if they work, taxes come out. Even if they don't, if they get public assistance, taxes come out. Federal taxes come out for the federal government. State taxes come out for state. I don't know if you guys, is there county taxes, Quantel? Property taxes for the county and local taxes for the city. So all these taxes come out and go all these places, equaling tens of billions, even trillions of dollars. And then that money is reinvested in healthcare and education and whatever. The point is this: because this is your tax money, and because we live in a democracy, do I work for you or do you work for me? Call it out. I work for you. Your taxes pay me, and as a result, I have to do what you say. A lot of people don't know this about elected officials. We work for y'all. And you should also decide where the money goes. You decide that partially by who you elect. You decide it in other ways as well. So that's taxes. Your money goes, your money, your parents' money, your friends' money, their family's money, that money goes to pay our salaries, but also to reinvest in the community. Now let's go to advocacy. An essential word as it relates to civic engagement. There are groups, advocacy groups, that exist and are designed to put pressure on members of Congress to do what they want them to do. So whether it's energy or healthcare or education or foreign policy or vote a certain way on this bill or come speak at our school about civic engagement, that's all advocacy. This is a major part of your power too. And we have to talk about this issue of power because all of this and you connects to building power. Can I see that next slide, please? Now, you all may think that I'm in 9th grade, I'm in 10th grade, I'm only a senior or a junior, I don't have no power, I'm not an adult. That's not true at all. That is not true at all. I'll tell you a couple ways you got power. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I have 3 kids. If my kids tell me something is important to them, I'm going to listen to my kids. If they tell me, Daddy, blah, 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 Daddy, this is important, whatever, I'm going to pay close attention to my kids. My daughter, I'll give her anything she wants. It's terrible. I'm sorry. I spoil her to death. It's terrible. I'm glad I'm not rich. It would be hard. But I got 2 boys and a girl. Whatever they're in, my daughter says, I want to go to ballet classes or I want to go to dance. Thank God I got a couple dollars to do that, to help her. I want to learn how to sing. I'm going to help her do that. But think about the millions of people who don't have the extra money to do that. And think about how privileged people are who do have the extra money who don't. So one of our issues is the issue of income inequality. We think if you work hard, 40 hours a week, whatever it is, you should make enough money to give your kids a little extra something. But we don't have a system like that. So let's say all of you decided here, I want Congressman Bowman to focus more on wealth inequality and income inequality. The system is broken. It's messed up that people are poor and living in poverty. I want him to do that. Let's get together and write a letter to Congressman Bowman. And y'all write me a letter telling me how important poverty and wealth inequality is to you. You write this letter, you send it to me with the signature of 1,000 students, or let's say 100 students. My staff going to be like, yo, we just got this letter from all these students. They say this issue is important. I'm like, so what? Who cares about a letter? They're like 100 students signed this. And they're going to rally outside of your office next week if you don't respond to this letter. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to respond to the letter. That's power. Let's say, you realize you walk the streets in your community, you realize, damn, there ain't no parks with no green spaces where I can actually go and hang out and just chill and be safe. That's crazy. Why is it like that? But when I go to Scarsdale, they got everything they want. That's crazy. Let me call Congressman Bowman. You know what we should all do? We should all call Congressman Bowman tomorrow between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. Let's just keep calling and calling and calling and telling his office what's important to us. Those calls come in, and we track the calls. So my team, they talk to each other, like, what calls did we get this week? It's like, I don't know what happened, but we got like 500 calls this week from kids who want more parks in their neighborhood. That's power. So, And those are just two examples. Again, you tell your parents about a particular thing. Your parents, if you're not the age to register to vote right now, your parents are. You tell them what's important. You tell them what you like and don't like, and encourage them to get on it, they'll get on it. That's power. And so do not think because you cannot vote yet, you don't have power. You do. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to close with this, okay? And then I'll take questions. And I started with this, so I'm going to end with this. We live in a society where black men have the lowest life expectancy of any group in the country. Black men are not going to live as long as other groups in America. That's what's happening.
Congressman, can you say that again for the people that are still on their devices? Because that's a relevant phrase.
I'll say it again. But let me say this first. Listen. Listen up. We live in a society where black women are more likely to die from childbirth than anywhere else in the world. Despite us being the richest nation on earth, if you're a black man, your life expectancy is shorter, and if you're a black woman, you're more likely to die from childbirth. Why is that? It's just something to think about. A couple of other data points, and I'll take your questions. And I'm telling you these data points so you could get pissed off, angry, mad, motivated, inspired, or at best, or at worst, just curious. Why the hell is there so much inequality? And what the hell can we do about it? Those are the two major questions you should be asking right now. We're the wealthiest nation on earth. We put more people in jail than anywhere else on earth. And they're mostly black, brown, or poor. We're the wealthiest nation on earth. We lead the world in gun violence. And guns kill kids more than anything else in the country right now, particularly black or brown kids. We already talked about wealth inequality. This is the country we have, and it is my position, my thesis, the reason why these problems persist is because of systemic racism and discrimination in our society. And because of a political system that's built on that. But the one caveat, the one thing that we have an opportunity to completely transform is our political system through your political engagement and building your own power. Two other quick points. The reason why, for lack of a better term, they, meaning those who want to keep things the way they are, continue to win, and we, and those of us trying to change things, continue to lose. Why do they win? Why do we lose? Because we don't vote consistently. And we don't hold elected officials like me accountable consistently.
Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, it's true.
Young people have the lowest voter turnout rate in the country, in states and nationwide. And people of color have the lowest voter turnout rate. And again, this is not our fault. Partly is, because we got to get off our butts. But the other part of it is we've been brainwashed into thinking our vote doesn't matter. We've been brainwashed into spending a lot of time on entertainment. We've been distracted by a variety of things. You mentioned people being on their devices. That's an addiction. Addiction is a major problem in our society. Over 100,000 people die every year from addiction. And addiction is not just drugs. Addiction is your darn phone too. And TV. And stuff that you just kind of doom scroll and stare at.
Do it.
for hours and hours and hours. Yeah, it's funny, it's entertaining, but then what do you get out of it at the end of the day? Like, did it help me? Did it, like, educate me? Did it give me a path to doing something? You know what I mean? You gotta just be mindful of this stuff. If you want to know a movie that kind of explains it all, it's called The Matrix. If you've never seen it, watch it. It explains what the hell's going on right now with our addictions. But anyway, I'll stop there. I appreciate your attention. Thank you so much for those who've been maintaining eye contact and attention the whole time. I really appreciate that. Y'all are the real MVP. But why y'all standing up? Yo, y'all gotta sit down. What are you standing up for? We ain't finished.
Please have a seat.
Sit down, man. You in a rush to go somewhere and do what? You think what? What's up? What happened? You got what?
Lunch.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know you're hungry. My bad. Anyway, are we taking one or two quick questions?
Do it. Yeah.
Very quick. I'm sorry. I know people hungry.
You got one right
There's
there.
one back there. One back there.
Back there, Mr. Donahue.
And I see you.
And we. Thank you.
Let's get this question here, and I see we gonna have. Okay, good, awesome. What up? Okay.
My question is, I was like just questioning, why are Black women more prone to dying from childbirth?
Great question. Get a picture of the whole crowd and me, okay? So she asked a great question. I gave you a statistic that Black women are more likely to die from childbirth. She asked why. The answer is racism. Now let me explain why. Because a lot of people don't understand this. Quantel, I need you for a demonstration.
Thank you. Give him a round of applause.
Give Quantel a round of applause.
Thank you.
Quantel's my deputy district director.
Thank you.
Okay. So racism is not just we don't like you because you black. Here's what I want you to think about. When you feel that the doctor or the OBGYN or your teacher or what you see on TV or what you see on social media or what you see in your community, everything you take in gives you information. And if the information it gives you says that because your skin is black or brown, you are less than or inferior to those with white skin, that stuff doesn't just wash over you and go away. That stuff lives in your body. Literally lives in your body. Anything you take in remains in unless you exercise it out. So think about black women historically and even present day. We live in a patriarchy, meaning men, for the most part, control the businesses and control a lot of things. All men, presidents, men. So automatically, women are considered secondary to that in society, not me, society. So as a woman already, you're marginalized. Add on that, now your skin is black or brown. And society keeps telling you, even now I think, if you Google beautiful women, the first group that come up is a bunch of white women. Right? So you black women, their whole lives are internalizing racism every day in so many different ways. That internalized racism lives in the body. And then you go through your most vulnerable time when you're having a baby. You're now in a healthcare system that is built on racism as well, with doctors who may be the nicest people on earth. But if you don't exercise your racism, it still lives in your body. Even black on black, because we internalize the idea that black or brown is inferior to white too. So you're going through all that during your most vulnerable time. That racism is in your body. Racism literally constricts how the blood flows and how your vital organs work in your body. It's called trauma. Racism is trauma. If that trauma lives in your body and you don't deal with it directly, it will impact what happens at childbirth. Okay, darling? Thank you. Thank you, Quantel, for the demonstration.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. He's not a black woman, but I didn't want to catch a charge up here, so I wanted to use you. Thank you very much. We have a question here.
Okay.
Almost done. I know y'all hungry.
Very nice to meet you. I'm from the senior class that requested you to be here, AP US Government Politics. And every Friday we talk about current events, and one current event is really talked about consistently in our class. So we would like to know your stance on Israel and Palestine and how Biden's response to that goes.
So my stance is human rights.
That's right.
And my stance is international law. And my stance is our humanity. And so every single life is precious. And no one life is more important than anyone else's life. So we have to do everything in our power to make sure that we save and preserve as many lives as we can. Now, there's a lot of history as it relates to Israel-Palestine, and you all should do your homework on the history, because that history will help you understand and inform as to what's happening right now. What happened right now is there was a horrible, horrific attack by a terrorist organization called Hamas. Horrible. Now, in the barbaric rules of war, and I want to say it that way, there are actual rules of war, but war all in and of itself is barbaric and horrible. Israel's allowed to respond to that attack, which they have. But their response is a response that falls against international law called collective punishment. And I'll give you a very local example. If you smack me in the face, I get to slap you back, right? That's the rules, right? I don't get to take out a gun and shoot your whole crew. That is excessive. And that is what's happening right now. It's against international law. So we have, and it's not just there, it's part of something called the military-industrial complex, and it's part of American imperialism and Western imperialism. We are so quick to go to war for power and resources as opposed to find diplomatic political solutions to our problems. And we got to figure out how to find diplomatic political solutions to our problems globally and locally. But I'll end with how I started. I'm for human rights, and I'm for humanity. And this war right now has killed over 3,000 children. So, to me, we are barbaric, savage people if we are killing children. I don't care what freaking war we think we're fighting. Thank you.
Amen.
We'll talk offline. We good? Oh, one more. Listen, y'all ain't that hungry. I know the school lunch ain't that good. As a matter of fact, I'm about to go to the cafeteria right now because I know it ain't good like that. Y'all just want to get on y'all phones and do nothing. You just want to be like this. That's all you want to do with your lip hanging and the drool. You want to be like this with the lip and the drool? Well, that's all y'all want to do. Stop playing. Okay, one more question. Shh.
From what I know, you used to be an educator. Would you say that any of your students, would you say your students are the reason you wanted to go into government?
That's a great question. Come over here, young lady. Come in. Come up to the front. Give her a round of applause. Hey, why do I always see you? What's up? Can I give you a hug?
I saw you Sunday.
Yes, we were just hanging out Sunday. So this is an example of someone who's in the community at a lot of events. You all should do that too, because you get to see people like me. And now, because I've seen her in different places, not to put you on the spot, if she says, Congressman Bowman, I need help with X, I'm going to help her. And so it's also, power is also about relationships as well. But her question was it my students that encouraged me or inspired me to run for Congress? That answer is absolutely, unequivocally, yes, 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 1,000 times. Because let me tell you what I see in you, and you can have a seat now. Thank you very much. Give her a round of applause. Can you go to the first slide? Let me tell you what I see in all of you in this room right now. Here's what I see. I see unlimited potential. I see magic. I see brilliance. I see creative magnificence. This is what I see in all of you. And you all have the capacity and ability to change the world in any way you see fit. It's up to you. And I saw that in my kids, my students. And because I felt the political system didn't see that, that's why I ran for Congress. Because I wanted to be a person in Congress who knows that and sees that and recognizes that and then does something about that. And that's why ever since I've been in Congress, I've given tens of millions of dollars to children and education initiatives in this district. Whether it's the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau, which we've given money to, or the New Rochelle, the Boys and Girls Club in New Rochelle, or the Yonkers YWCA, or whatever. We've given millions of dollars to youth and children's and education initiatives because I need you. I need you all, and you need for yourself. There's something called self-determination, where you get the opportunity to do and be anything you want to be. And it's my job to help you do that. That's why I'm here. That's why my staff is here. And so, yes, I did it for my students, and I continue to do this work for students. The last thing I'll say is this. Since you all got phones and you love your phones, do me a favor. Before you leave, if you're really serious about being the best you want to be in your life, take down this information. Because if you take down this information, you have a direct contact with your congressperson, me. And you could call on me and us for anything that you may need. This is important, I'm telling you. Because a lot of elected officials won't give you this. And again, I'm on social media, I'm verified, whatever that means, and you can look me up. And so, going back to, let me just see this real quick. Going back to, thank you. Yep, going back to this. Right? All of these systems, all of these people, your taxes, your advocacy, and then finishing with this is something I want you to leave here with. Leaving here with the understanding that not I, but you, saying to yourself, I am powerful, I can do and be anything I want, and I can get started right now. That's what I want y'all to leave with. I am powerful, I can do and be anything I want, and I can get started right now. First thing I gotta do is learn how to stay awake when someone's talking and not scroll through my phones when someone's talking, giving good information. But most of you were magnificent. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your attention. Hold up. The last thing, one last thing. Last thing I'll say is,
Guys, come on.
I'm here because I care deeply about each and every one of you, even though I don't know you. Because I know you are the ones that are gonna take this whole thing to another level. So I love you, be great, and let's stay connected. And make sure you grab that information. Thank you.
All right, all 9th and 10th graders, head down to the cafeteria.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Wally from Brooklyn.
Thank you.
We're going to do a class picture.
Okay.
So there's a cafeteria coming next.
Here, where you want me to go?
Stay safe.
Okay.
All graders, please come.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.